God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 24 of Your Journey is Not Over. My name is Tanya Pearson Randolph. This is my own personal journey, and the expressions and opinions are of my own. I own all the rights to my personal journey, and your journey is not over. Neither are to be used, copied, or edited in any way without my consent. Okay, truly I'm going to get back on track for real this time, like I've tried to do the last couple of episodes. Again, my pen just flows. I try to make these podcasts no longer than 15 minutes long. When I first started out, I thought, well, I'm very long-winded, and I can truly get a lot out within 15 minutes. You think, make it short with so much to share. With that being said, going back to when I was 15 years old, that summer I worked a lot. I saved money, and again, I partied a lot too. A lot more drinking than I'd ever done before. I hung around with all older friends. By the way, I was always the youngest of my friend group, but I was always in charge and like the mom of the group. I know it's weird, but true. No matter whose car I was in, I always got shotgun, the front seat, because again, my childhood trauma controlled me and my fear of being in a car wreck. So I couldn't sit in the back seat. Looking back now, I think I had some kind of form of control by sitting in the front seat. Looking out for other cars, looking out for deer, and looking out for our driver of our car. I do have a memory this summer, barely, of being at the county fair. I guess I got into a fist fight with another girl. I have absolutely no memory of it. I was too drunk to even remember it, and I only have a brief memory of being on one of the rides. Looking back at my 15-year-old self now, I'm just like, oh my goodness, I had grown up way too fast, was way ahead of my years. I was 15 years old, going on 19. Fast tracking. At that time, I was hanging out with friends that had already graduated from high school. Again, older than me, but I fit right in. I had never acted my age, nor did I look my age. I was forced to grow up fast. Truly, no choice of my own. And it was also this summer that I do remember my dad trying to let me be me and let me be the free spirit that I am, but also trying to reel me in and give me a curfew. Since my first love and I were no longer together, we still stayed in touch, but not as often as before. And he wasn't enforcing my curfews any longer. So my dad kind of picked it up. I did pretty good with it, but this was also the summer that my friend's car caught on fire, and I had to call home from a payphone and let my dad know I was going to be late. He wasn't happy with me, and I know he thought it was so far-fetched and that was just an excuse to be late. But her car really did catch on fire, and it was a scary night. And I also wanted to, after all of these years, let my dad know I never lied to him. I truly was telling the truth that night. By the way, my dad listens to every episode, and my hopes are that he's proud of me for speaking up and speaking out, and for telling my journey in the hopes to help and to relate to others that have had similar traumas. Hey, Dad, ditto. At the end of the summer is when I would start dating someone other than my first love, so it would become my second relationship. I had stayed single for a while. I have never been someone that can jump from one relationship to another. It takes me time to accept change, to adjust and to let go and to move on. So my second relationship started out just as friends, talking, long walks around the neighborhood, just a slow process of getting to know each other. He was really cute and he was so smart and he was easy to talk to. But he was older and had partied a lot more than I had, more experienced in life than me. Everything started out normal, but it wasn't long before this would become my first physically abusive relationship, a cycle I would repeat many, many times in my life. Being fair and my healed version, looking back at it now, I attracted guys just like me, guys that experienced their own childhood traumas and trying to cope and develop unhealthy coping skills. We fall into cycles that we're adjusted to. And in my case, I had been abused physically since I was 5 and 6 years old. So it was what I knew at that time, what was normal to me, and what I equated to love. My first love was never abusive in any way. I don't remember him even raising his voice to me, let alone being physical with me. No, never. But in all fairness, he also knew all of my traumas, every single detail. And he's also the person who helped me to talk about it openly and work through it and accept my traumas as part of me and not what defined me. So he would have never added to my trauma. So to find myself in a physically abusive relationship, I now understand how and why it happened. I was falling into patterns, cycles of getting with people that treated me just like my mom did. Abusive, both physically and verbally. And also, I was again attracting guys just like me that had experienced their own childhood traumas. So essentially, two kids that had dealt with our own and very different traumas, trying to forge a bond that was so unhealthy for both of us. We were both running and acting on our own traumas. They say get with someone from the same side of the tracks as you, so you have some kind of understanding of each other, can relate to each other. That only works when you're aware of your traumas and when you're a healed version of yourselves, not two teenagers who aren't even aware of why they respond or accept certain actions. That leads to total destruction and even more trauma and a lot of bad moments and bad decisions. Was there love? Was there love? Yes, of what we knew love to be. Unhealthy, unstable, just total destruction. Again, this was normal to me because of how I was raised and how I was treated by the one person who was supposed to love me and protect me, my mom. Psalms 139, verse 1. I know you intimately. I have searched the depths of your heart and soul. There is nothing about you hidden from me. I know your fears, your hopes, your struggles, your triumphs. I know the thoughts you whisper in the quiet and the dreams you hold close. You are fully known, fully seen, and yet fully loved. You never need to hide from me, for I am the one who created you, who cherishes you, and who walks with you through every moment. Trust in my knowledge of you, for it is rooted in an unshakable love. I do not own the rights to the things that I'm about to share. In solitude, there is healing. Speak to your soul. Listen to your heart. Sometimes, in the absence of noise, we find the answers. Jesus saved a world that put him on a cross. Next time you feel unappreciated or misunderstood, please remember that even he was rejected by those he came to save. Your worth isn't measured by how others respond, but by the love God has for you. Keep shining. Your kindness reflects him. Also, healing is learning to move with the waves instead of fighting them. And I do want to share this. This is the first poem that I've wrote in many, many years, and I hope you enjoy it. Live your life as only you can. Remember, we're only here for a short span. Learn the lessons God sent you here to learn, and His love and grace is what you will earn. Remember, you're never alone. God's always right there, sitting on His throne, loving us, guiding us, and giving us grace in a world that sometimes we all feel out of place. Turn to Him when you feel lost and confused. God is always right there, and with God, you will never lose. And before I sign off today, I want to relay to everyone listening to please show up, show out, speak up, speak out, and stop the shame. Take your power back and give it to God. We might have been flawed by this world, but we are saved by His grace. This concludes my podcast for today. Please join me Thursday, listen in, and always remember, your journey is not over. God bless.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows.